Hey Ringside crew, welcome to the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. And now here's your host, Joe, Panther III.
Hello there, wrestling fans, and welcome to another episode of the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. I am Joe Panther III, and man, Ringside crew, you are in for a treat. I have this young lady on. I had her on last year. It was so much fun. Let's give a warm Dudes at Ringside return to Erica Torres. Welcome back, Erica.
Hello, hello. Thank you for having me.
Did you see me? Because it feels like my camera froze.
It's
Let's give a warm Dudes at Ringside return to Erica Torres. Welcome back, Erica.
hello, hello. Thank you for having me.
Erica, so what have you been up to since the last time we were in the Dudes at Ringside studios?
Oh man, I've just been traveling around, beating people up, punching faces, throwing chicks, what Erica does.
Awesome,
Erica
Erica.
doing Erica things.
Yes. And I always love hearing your stuff, Erica, because you always do so many fun things. So where have you been? Like, where if you had a map that says the Erica World Tour, where have you been since the last time we spoke?
Oh goodness, man. I've been down to Texas. I've got to go to Mississippi. I traveled 15 hours down to South Carolina twice, back to back weeks. Um, Heading over to Arkansas, out to Tennessee. And yeah, I've been traveling all over the place. And I'm looking to go to more places. So if you want to see me, shoot me out that way.
Yeah. I definitely want to see you come to PPW in Slatington, Pennsylvania, which is a fun venue. They have a lot of fun wrestlers. I keep saying fun. Sammy Chaos is there. She's another wrestler but she's like a big girl. She's a big girl. She's like an Andre the
Hey
Giant.
man, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. So I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to throwing them.
We got Danny Moe that comes by there a lot.
Oh yeah,
She's
yeah. I got
women's
to
champion.
meet her here recently. Um, Looking forward to fighting her.
Ooh, I would love to see that match because you and her. Like, I could see you guys going down because
Oh yeah. She looks like a scruffy one. So
your style with your wrestling now, because I've noticed you do a lot of like almost like MMA style. Have you changed like the style that your Erica Torres style from when we first met?
well, what's funny is I try to adapt to whoever my opponent is. I try to make sure that I'm well rounded on all sides. Ground and pound, power, striking, um, quick, rapid movement, high flying. So that way it depends on who I'm wrestling. If I'm wrestling somebody big, I got to be flying, I got to be going, I got to be striking. If I'm wrestling somebody smaller, I got to be throwing, I got to have control. But mainly when I go into any match, my ideal thing is to take them down, roll them up, pin, try to get it done as quick as possible. Unless they've pissed me off and I want to take a little time, kind of rubbing it in.
With the new age of watching like wrestling stuff, have you ever gone back and like watched like Dan Severin or like gone back and like
Yeah. So
yeah.
when I grew up, I was watching old school MMA when it was first coming up. Dan Severin, Ken Shamrock, Andre Arlovsky, Randy Couture, Tito Ortiz, Chuck Liddell. So they were coming on the scene when I very first started amateur wrestling. So I was like 10 years old. And my cousin, Joe Daddy Stevenson, he's actually part of all of that. And he's what got me into the whole MMA thing. And my dad would actually train fighters up in California. And so I'd go to the workouts, I'd go to the seminars and stuff. So I've got to do a seminar with Dan Severin, and it was very interesting. I got really lucky being able to do these seminars with some of these amazing fighters. And getting to see them, one on one. I got to have conversations with Herb Dean when I was in seventh grade. I got to hang out with Randy Couture. Got to talk a little bit with Tito Ortiz. He kind of had an attitude at the time, so by the time he came back around, he was humbled up by Randy Couture on that third fight. So it's been an interesting journey. I got lucky being able to be in both worlds because my dad was a professional wrestler as well when I was little. So I
Mm.
got to see that side. And then after he stepped out of that, I got into amateur wrestling when I was 9. And he stepped in and was coaching and stuff. And then that's when we met Joe from a family kind of reunion thing. And then started up the whole MMA thing. So I've been going through that since 10 years old, 9, 10 years old.
Like with Dan Severn, did you take any advice that he's said to you, or did you like take a little bit sprinkled into whatever like else you felt, and like a little bit of like what kind of advice did
Oh
he
man,
like give you?
he was a beast. I mean, obviously, um, he was definitely a calculated man. His main thing is stay calm, think about what you're doing, and don't overexert yourself. If you're tense and you're trying to do something, you're going to waste a lot more energy. You're going to waste a lot of your breath. You're going to end up basically pooping out a lot quicker than you would if you were calm and calculated. So that's basically what I took from him. Take your time, make sure that you set things in, lock it up, don't freak out, and then slowly get to where you need to go. And while that other person is freaking out, then they're the ones that are losing that excess energy, and then you can just wait them out, get in the chest.
So, out of all the submission moves you've seen or you've locked in, what is your what are your top 5 submission moves to go after when you're trying to like get someone down?
Let's see here. I like doing my variation. I call it the Iron Maiden, which is basically just a behind the back wrist lock, like a chicken
Mm.
wing, and then a front face lock. So that way you
Ooh.
can choke them out and they can't move. You set them up on their butt, or you keep them to the back. I also like the twister. It's one where you sink in the leg, flop them right over, and then you can twist. Um, Banana splits is always fun. That one's a good one. Um, let's see here. Uh, the one that I do for one of my finishes, the black oleander. So you chicken wing up their arms with one leg, reach over and snatch up the other leg. They can't do anything. You can wrench it, or you can sit it, or you can just leave it as is with just the chicken wing in the leg and ground and pound. Um, Omoplata, that one's fun, or otherwise known as the Yes Lock from
Mm.
Jane O'Brien. That one's pretty fun to do. Um, let's see here. Getting into the armbar, I usually like to use the jerk where you end up kicking down under their face and off to the
Oh,
side to
gee.
break that arm.
Awesome. Like when it comes to your gear, because I remember you've been on this now for 3 years with on this podcast. It's so crazy to think you've been on Dudes at Ringside three times in a row. Do you think your character? You think the what Erica Torres has what's the word, evolution? Like the evolution
Evolved?
evolved. I always say evolution. The evolved with Erica Torres. If you like, would there be like a timeline of like Erica that you think that
Well,
you would? Yeah.
it's pretty funny because obviously when I very first started, my trainer wanted me to go more with the lucha route, considering I'm Hispanic, so he wanted to try and pull that in. So when I first started, I was Hispanic lucha, La Reina de Corazones, so people would call me La Reina for short, so the Queen of Hearts. Then I evolved from that into the Lady of Impact, because I was very impactful. Ended up cutting off the La Reina and going straight with Erica Torres. Um, One of the promoters and bookers that I was talking with suggested that I go with my full name, just for the mere fact that I have credentials and stuff. So if they Google me, they'd be able to find me a lot easier. So dropped the whole Latina, went with Erica Torres, started as the Lady of Impact, evolved into the rightful queen. So I had this whole queen gimmick as a heel, bad guy. Then once everybody started being queens, Charlotte popped on the scene. She started doing the whole business and stuff. I was like, all right, so now we gotta revamp and change something around. We were on a trip, uh, and my boyfriend suggested the American Witch because we were listening to Rob Zombie American Witch, and he thought that it would be a good gimmick and everything. And I was like, hey man, I can do that, no problem. So went with that for a bit and then started realizing, okay, all the other girls are starting to do dark gimmicks and everything. And we had a discussion. He was like, you know what? What are you naturally? You're a fighter. What should we do? Cut out all the gimmicks, cut out all the nonsense. What do people want to see? They want to see fighting. And what am I? I'm a 3-time All American, 2-time California state champion, a national champion. I was first American at the Dave Schultz International at the Olympic Training Grounds. So it's like, why not just go off of that? I'm a fighter. Let's do it. Let's just go straight to just brutal San Joaquin Slam Machine. I'm from the San Joaquin Valley, Porterville Powerhouse from Porterville, California Conundrum. So basically, I'm just Erica doing Erica things.
Awesome. That's so awesome, Eric. I'm so proud of you of all the stuff you've been doing and so far with your career. Like, is there anybody that you've been watching on the scene that you really want to toss in and like scrap with them, but it's like you haven't had a chance to?
Oh man, there's so many. Like obviously all the female talent on WWE, like throw me in there, I'm ready to go. Male talent as well.
Yeah.
But I'm always looking for a fight. I don't care who it is, where it is. If you want to step up, let's go. Win, lose, draw, doesn't matter as long as I'm stepping in there and giving it my all. And as long as they're stepping in and giving it their all too, because I don't want to waste my time.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. So as we see our favorite wallabies behind you, um,
Yeah.
like what would you say would have been your favorite episode of Rocko's Modern Life?
Spunky and the Mop. When Spunky falls in love with the mop. That one's a great one. Or the fleas on Spunky. Whenever they have the whole Western business and everything, those were pretty funny. Um, Obviously the banana one where it's the whole family comes back in the future and everything. I can't remember. I think Rocco gets stuck in a fridge or something, or they get shot off into a rocket and then come back. Um, but those are pretty funny. Or when Rocco gets hypnotized and thinks he's a dog, and then Mrs. Big Head ends up taking him and keeping him as a pet.
Like it's so crazy to think that that generation of Nickelodeon could never be like brought back because all the stuff that's going on these days. But do you remember like do you think if they ever did like a straight to Paramount Plus like movie, do you think it would be a hit or do you think they would have to bring it in the theater to make it get more of an impact?
I think it would be a hit if it came straight to, or if it went to theaters. I think we have a lot of a generation here that likes that nostalgia and stuff. However, if they do that, they're gonna have to bring back some of the charm of the '90s and early 2000s. Because I think back then a lot of that comedy, they knew that parents were watching too. So they made a lot of jokes for the parents to watch too. So that way it's not just, okay, we throw it on for the kids. Who is buying toys for the kids? Who is watching and seeing what their kids are learning? So they would do a lot of comedy for the children and then hidden comedy for the adults. So if you go back and you watch some of that stuff now, you'll be laughing hysterically at some of the little things that they just throw in there. Like Grandpa from Rugrats. I walked 15 miles in 15 feet of snow, to go to
And
school.
then
And
Tommy's making fun of it. He's like, "It's so far." Oh my
exactly, and it's only like 50 feet.
As we were saying before the show, I didn't even know this. They must have just added it to the Paramount Plus like Nickelodeon like things. I still can't believe they have them grown up. It blew my mind to see Tommy with purple spiky hair.
Yeah,
Like,
I thought that was, I was very skeptical when they first aired and everything. So I was like, all right, Rugrats all grown up. Where are we going with this? But I feel like at the time they did an all right job. It wasn't too cringy. It wasn't. They stayed pretty true to the characters. I like how they made Dill the weirdo because it's Dill Pickles. He's the little brother. Angelica, Miss Popular. Queen Bee there. Chucky still very um oh, what's the word? Still very like kind of scared and kind of like skeptical of stuff. And then of course you got Phil and Will just always out there being them weird selves.
There was that one episode, I forgot what was going on, and Tommy and Chucky are talking. And Chucky says something because Chucky's always scared. He said something, and Tommy looks at him. It's almost like he canceled him. He said, "You're still scared of everything?" Like, I was like, "Oh man!"
Well, what's crazy is like it's good that they kind of kept those characteristic traits with them as they grow up because even in reality, some of us starting out as young kids, we still keep some of those characteristics as we grow up. Some of us get over some of the stuff that we were scared of, or if you grow up as a bad kid, always getting into trouble and stuff, but then you can turn your life around and, be a proper uh, part of society. Or you can just be one of those kids, that was all good about everything and then just grow up to be a complete nut. Um, so it's really nice that they kind of stayed with the characteristics of the children as they grew up.
Yeah.
And same with the adults too.
Oh yeah.
Charlotte always on the phone. Jonathan.
Oh jeez, I was waiting for her to say they should have just had them get married. Her and the mom and the guy on the phone, Jonathan, should have got married because they were always on the phone with each other. Like,
Well, I'm glad that they didn't go with that route because it also it gives off that sense of okay, so you got the dad and who's successful. Oh, what the heck was his name? Not Stu. Drew. It was Drew.
yeah,
And so you had Drew Pickles, his wife Charlotte, who was obviously, businesswoman, power. So they had
yeah,
that dynamic to show that. And then just show that she always had this um, assistant on the go constantly. Hey, man, I need this done. You got to get this done. Let's go, go, go. So I think they did a really good job with that show as far as like splitting up the different family dynamics. You had um, Phil and Will's parents. You had the soft-spoken dad with the feminist, crazy
mom with
wife there.
the mom with that scratchy voice. She's like, "You gotta go, guys."
Yeah,
Like
which
this
which is
crazy,
funny because I
awesome.
mean,
I love that
obviously
voice.
there was moms out there that was like, "You mess with my kid, let's go," you know.
Yeah,
And then obviously you have Dee Dee, who's a smart, sensible, nice lady. Stu, who's the crazy inventor guy. So I think it was a good dynamic. And then you had Susie's parents coming in too. They were very proper, political. So they showed different backgrounds of all these different types of people in this neighborhood and they brought them all together to show that they could work out. And then even when there was trouble between them and there was stuff, by the end of the episode, they had it all figured out. Things were cool, and everybody was barbecuing at the end.
yeah, and it's kind of a small world. They really didn't show age to the parents. Maybe like Tommy's mom, she had
Yeah,
like
a little
a
bit.
streak in her hair. That's about it. But she kind of looked hip. Like I was like, okay, that
Hmm.
could have been a blonde streak. Like the grandpa didn't look like he aged. He looked like maybe he's 70, maybe
Yeah.
pushing 70, and he's still good. He's still a cool grandpa. Like, and the dad, he's still trying to figure something out because he's always trying to
Hmm.
build and figure things out. Like, did you ever like go on TikTok or like go on the internet? I know like everybody has this moment. Did you ever hear those horrible like dark side rumors about the Rugrats?
Oh yeah, the fan lore. There's always some fan lore, like the ones where it's like, oh, they were all a figment of Angelica's imagination because Tommy died when she was little, and so she made up this whole thing and stuff. And I mean, it's funny as fan lore, but I mean, come on, anybody can do that.
It was like
you know,
Tommy was a
Chucky was a
preemie
psycho,
baby and
and
he died when his mom in like in the house or died with his mom. Chucky was was something got killed as a little boy. Like really creepy.
and you're always gonna have that. You're always gonna have those fans that just want to take something into a different direction. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's all in good fun.
Yeah, there's another series that I wrote of my friend. I did like a short in my head, like out loud. I started saying like a little like a my own way they would do a movie. Do you remember Salute Your Shorts?
Of course.
I did my own, like if they made a straight to Hulu, like Paramount Plus, like movie tribute to the Salute Your Shorts. That um, it's been years since Camp Anawana was open. The grounds are going to get sold, and a big company buys the camp, revamps it, and just keeps it as Camp Anawana, and the kids get invited. They some reason have the books of the old. They have the old kids' numbers, and some of them don't live at the house, but it's just like I guess the kid lives there, or whatever.
Right.
And they find that Ugg was the biggest counselor that was in the camp because it hadn't been open since the '90s. And they're like, I guess we need to honor this guy because he was some reason the counselor so
Yeah, he was
long.
the
He's
guy.
on all the pictures. So the kids get brought back and they're like, oh wow, this camp. So the movie ends with they're pulled the tarp off the statue, and all the kids go and they turn it, and the statue spray painted. It says "ugly, ugly," and then you hear the kid Bug Nick go, and that's how the movie ends.
Yeah, it's a nice little twist there.
Yeah, it's like Batman. He sprays "ugly" across the statue and puts a mask on him.
That
Yeah.
definitely that seems like something that he'd do for sure.
Yeah. I could see him still doing it as an adult. Like,
Mhm.
oh, yeah.
Being
Memories.
one of those pranksters.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like, now it's this season toward the end of the year. Like, where do you, where are you building yourself up for 2025? Are you gonna, put it on pause? Are you just keeping yourself
Oh
going
no,
and stuff like
there's no pause. There's a sticking that foot on the gas and not letting up.
that? Okay.
There's definitely no pause, man. I'm looking forward to like just moving full steam ahead. Hitting as many places as I can, fighting as many people as I can, doing as many podcasts and talking, jib jabbing as I can.
Yeah.
Anybody that wants to see me, anybody that wants to fight me, I'm there. I'm ready to go. Like, uh, I feel like I've hit a nice go about here.
I get that. I didn't mean to say pause. There's certain wrestlers when it
Oh
comes to
no,
like
yeah,
November.
there's definitely people that take time and kind of like some people will focus on training and then get back into it. Some people will take some time off, to get their mental straight and everything. I feel like I've definitely hit the spot where I'm ready to go. I feel like I'm in that old school tournament style. Like this is usually my season. October to January, February was when I would train the hardest because it's wrestling season. And then every Saturday is a tournament. So you're getting, depending on if you win the first match, you might just get 2 matches in the tournament. Or, if you get knocked out the first round, then you got to fight back maybe 4 to 8 matches, depending on how many people are in that bracket. So I feel like mentally and physically, my body's always trained to be in that tournament mode where it's like, let's go, 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 go.
Yeah. I totally get that, Erica. Ooh, I got a fun thing. Who made your gear?
Me.
Oh, yeah, I think we probably mentioned that last time. So you make all your gear, like everything now?
For the most part, sometimes I'll reach out and get some other stuff made, but for the most part, it's usually me.
Wow. Is it hard to get? I know I'm an artist, so I draw a lot. So is it? You get like a lot of inspiration from like movies you watch or like something you've seen on Instagram. Like, where do you get your inspirations from?
I usually just kind of go off what fits right and kind of what I'm feeling, like depending on which event I'm going for. Like for the purple gear, I wanted to debut that at the Sherry Martel Classic, and they had purple and everything. So I was like, all right, I'm hitting the theme. I'm going with purple on this, which actually kind of accented well. I was surprised with how it came out. Um, as far as colors go. I've always been kind of a red person. I'm always black and red, black and red. And I was like, I got to switch up a little bit of color here. So I went with purple and black to match the event and the theme. But I've had a lot of different types of gear and stuff as far as switching from pants to briefs to shorts. I feel like it kind of keeps things spicy and keeps, you know, uh, how can I say it? Just it kind of it gives you a different uh, emotion and vibe and everything whenever you're constantly going. If you stay the same costume, you're just like Doug opening up your closet and it's all like 10,
Oh God,
10
that's another
outfits
one.
the same.
Have you ever thought of going into like the Nickelodeon vault and finding a certain like characters geared to
Like
like
kind of
mold
popping back with
into?
some themes and stuff. Yeah, I thought about some of that and everything. Like I'm a real big Gurr fan from Invader Zim, so I thought maybe a black and pink with a lime green and a turquoise blue, kind of throw that together, pay homage to,
Like
Invader
or
Zim.
Reptar?
Oh, Reptar would be great. Reptar was a good one. I always wanted one of those Reptar bars where they turn your tongue green.
You know what's funny? I actually have a Reptar T-shirt.
Nice.
It says Reptar and it has him like on the front of the shirt. It's so funny. Like I think there's like you could always try to do like a almost like a Chucky Finster like green with those squiggles on it as
Right, with the squiggles and the triangles and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's definitely a good one.
Yeah.
Um, X-Men is really popular. A lot of people have been using different X-Men type. One of my favorites is obviously the yellow tracksuit from Bruce Lee. Obviously, they reused that Kill Bill. They used it in that one, but that was always an iconic look for me that I really liked was the yellow tracksuit with the black stripe. I was a big Bruce Lee fan growing up.
Or the Rocco Hawaiian shirt like he's
Oh
wearing
yeah, yeah,
behind.
definitely.
Yeah, oh God, the light blue with the
Going
purple
blue with some
triangle.
purple triangles. Yep.
If you're a Nandy's kid, you're like, oh my God, she's wearing Rocco's Hawaiian shirt as tights. Or make a singlet. You can make like a almost like the high school singlet and make it
Yep.
like that.
Yeah, when I got let's see, my junior year, so about 2005, 2006 is when the customized singlets really started popping off. So if you go to a freestyle event, outside of school wrestling, you go to a freestyle event, all these kids had different types of prints and everything on their singlets and stuff. So you had a lot of characters, 90s cartoon characters on there, comic book characters. My thing is I always had either the red or blue singlet, always had the reversibles so that way whichever one you're supposed to be in for your color you're in. But my signature, because I always had short hair, my mom, they couldn't tell where I was, so I would always wear long long socks. So I'd be out there with my singlet and then have the long SpongeBob socks or long character socks. So that was kind of my trademark there.
Yeah, that's the most important. Like your family has followed you in this wrestling journey as well. Do you ever feel like they have helped you along the way with all like the wrestling stresses?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Like my boyfriend D, he's been my biggest supporter. That man, if I'm not feeling it, he's like, "What are you doing? Get up and go. Let's go." I'm like, "All right, you're right." So he's always pushing, always making sure that I'm on my diet, making sure that I'm working out, making sure that I'm hitting up everybody that I need to hit up. He's basically, my Drew and my Jonathan.
That's
Always making
awesome.
sure I'm good. He's definitely my biggest supporter and the one that's helped me out the most. And then obviously my dad, from coaching me from little and then getting me back into professional wrestling and stuff. He was always there. My mom, she didn't want me to wrestle. She was totally against it at the beginning. And then when she seen that I had the talent and I was going, then she became a supporter. And I was like, all right, if that's what you want to do, then we can do it. So
That's
I've definitely had
amazing.
some nice support.
That's amazing, Erica. I'm so glad that like I had a chance to sit down with you again and talk about this. So before we go, I have a few more questions. Where do you see yourself 5 to 10 years in the wrestling business?
Oh man, I hope I'm at the top of the block there. Let's go to main event WrestleMania.
Oh yeah, I'll be there.
That's
I'll be there.
obviously that's the shot, man. Main event
I'll be there
WrestleMania.
crying. Your man's like, "Why are you crying? She's my girlfriend." Like, I interviewed her about three
Man, I'll be
times.
happy if I have everybody crying and happy and throwing their hands up and Erica. That's what I'm
I'm like,
shooting
I
for. That's what I
interviewed
want.
her three times. WWE is like, sorry, sir, you have to take those interviews down. Erica, submission now. He doesn't have to take nothing down. Been told by Riley Rocket, if I make it to WWE, I'm making them making them let you come have me back on again. As long as WWE doesn't get mad and make me delete my whole channel, we're fine.
Right, right.
Copyright, but it's not even saying WWE. No. Like, what do you
It's
think about
the
that new thing now with WWE
huh?
with the ID? What do you think about all that
Oh
stuff?
man, I think it's great. I think it's a great idea. So that way you can go out and see your future prospects, see the talent. Because I mean, you can only get so far and keep so many viewers with the same roster or the same stack of people as the indie shows know. So you can only do so much with the same amount of people that you have. However, if you're able to bring in fresh faces and keep things moving and fresh, you'll be gaining more followers, you'll be gaining more watchers, and you'll be gaining more fans. So that's obviously the master plan behind everything. So I think it's a great idea. Like, just start that farm, bring them on up, cycle them on down. The older roster can come down and help out the newer roster, bring them on up, and we can just do this whole washing machine, dryer cycle here and just keep everybody going.
I wonder if they're gonna do like if they have the indie roster, are they gonna have like they have house shows? Are they gonna have like smaller WWE indie shows?
Well, it would be smart. It would definitely be smart to bring all those ID'd fellows together and kind of do a show off of that to kind of like showcase the talent that they're bringing in. And it's also good too because if they throw an ID on you and everything, that means that other people are going to watch you as you're moving on up. So now you have this whole story of where you started from, and people are on you to go with you with that journey.
Yeah. I love the indie wrestling hashtag support independent wrestling. Um it takes something that when these wrestlers get chosen, but then it's one thing to get chosen is that you're gonna keep your same gimmick,
It,
or is WWE gonna make you change?
Well, change isn't always that bad. Sometimes you need to evolve. Sometimes you need to step up. And I think that's one of the good things about this whole ID business is they see you to begin with, and then they help elevate your career. They help elevate your move set, your mental capacity. They polish you and bring you up to being the best you. And if you can't do that, well, then we'll just cycle you on through, do the best we can with you, and bring in the next person that is willing to go that far or do what they need to be successful. So either way, it's a good deal. If you get ID'd and then you don't make it, you're still getting those eyes on you, so you can still continue with your career even if you're not on the big stage.
Yeah, that it's weird. Like I think, oh yeah, this wrestler's gonna make it, and then I'm like, ooh, WWE won't like that. that style or that gear. They may change you because they just brought in a young female wrestler from Australia. I don't know if you know the one they keep calling Delta, the one they just
Oh
brought.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I interview wrestlers from Australia. They've been talking about her for years.
Hmm.
And they all said Delta. So every time I see it on Instagram, I have to post it in my story and quickly write Delta over the name. Then they're like, "Why'd you do that?" I'm like, "That's not her name. Straight to jail. Name's Delta. Straight to jail." Like every Australian indie fan's like, "No, Delta. No." So,
Yeah, man.
yeah. So, Erica, before we go, if there was any young fans that are inspiring to get into the wrestling business like you did and following your dreams, what kind of advice would you have for them?
Make sure that you are ready to hit that gas pedal and go because it's a nonstop thing. Like, you got to be mentally prepared, you got to be physically prepared. Basically, you need to make sure that you're working out and that you keep your body as top notch as you can because every one of these matches is like a baby car wreck, and you never know what's going to happen in there. So you want to make sure that your body is protected with muscle. You're not going to break anything. You know how to maneuver your body so that way you're as safe as possible with yourself. Also, hit up a school. Go to a wrestling school. Go to one of the ones that are actually going to benefit you, not just take your money. You want to hit one that's going to actually give you the knowledge, the strength, the critiques, everything that you need, so that way you can do the best you can uh, within your career. And then it also kind of gets you kind of feeling out if this is something that you really want to proceed with, or if you want to step back and maybe go a different route, whether it's announcing, referee, um, commentary, basically just make sure that you are physically ready, you're mentally ready, and you're emotionally ready. And if you're not, then it's always okay to step back, relax, reassess yourself, and then just go right back into whichever path you want to go. But definitely hit up a school that will, again, teach you what you need to be successful.
Yes, definitely. Like, find a good school, research it, look it up on YouTube. If they even have Yelp, like, see if they're on Yelp. They may have wrestling schools on Yelp, probably, right?
Who knows? Probably. But yeah, you
Yeah.
definitely you want to find one that's going to benefit you and not just take your money and just throw you out there to the wolves. You want to be able to go out there with a purpose, go out there as a fighter, go out there, ready to compete, not just dance and play.
So, Erica, thank you so much for coming back on the podcast. I really appreciate it. Good luck on your wrestling journey, and good luck. I hope to see you wrestle soon. Maybe you come to PPW, Battlefield, New Era, or any other promotion here in Pennsylvania or in New Jersey. I'm Joe Panther the Third,
America Torres.
and we will catch you in the next one.